O sea, no.
¿Qué quieres? ¿Estamos conectados? Ah, se conectó Mora. Ah, Morita. Mora, how are you? ¿Cómo estás, Mora?
Hola,
Cámara. Hola. ¿Cómo andás?
bien, bien, acá estamos.
Bien. ¿Estamos? ¿Quién más además de tuyo? ¿O vos sola?
No, yo, acá estoy.
Bueno, estamos esperando que se conecte España y largamos.
Bueno,
Te veo el 7 de junio.
te esperamos con los chicos.
Dale, un cariño. Hola Mora, ¿cómo estás? La mamá de la Ceci habla.
Hola,
¿Conoces? Esto para la mamá de la Ceci. Claro. No, también como profe, che, ¿no es cierto? Que estuvimos juntas en planeamiento.
tal cual, sí. Y eso fue antes que
Eso fue, antecede a todo eso. Que no puedo enviar esto. Estamos conectando el ordenador. Avísame lo que puse, pero bueno, quedó. No, porque todavía no estamos está del otro lado. Para acá. No puedes, tiene una actividad de rectorado también. No puedo. No, sí, todo junto. No, me habrá la computadora. Ahí se está grabando. Ahí está. Ah, pero Lina se conectaba a ella y ahí está la Universidad de Cali. Ahí.
Buenos días,
Ahí está.
Marcela.
¿Cómo estás, Elisa?
No oímos. A ver.
Bueno, que nos vean un poquito a nosotros. Epa. No, pero-
¿Ahora se oye?
Hola. Hola.
Hola, buenos días.
¿Nos escuchas bien?
A ver, nosotros escuchamos bien.
A ver, nos estás viendo bien. No sé cómo nos escuchás.
Sí, veo bien.
¿Y nos escuchás bien?
Perfecto.
Bueno, nosotros a vos también. ¿Cómo estás?
Vale. Bien. Hola, ¿qué tal? Buenas tardes. Buenos días.
Ah, para nosotros buenos días, así es.
Buenos días.
Bueno, estamos en condiciones de empezar. Elisa, ¿ustedes ahí?
Sí.
¿Querés probar de compartir? No sé si van a compartir la presentación o cómo hacemos.
I'm going to try. Me aparece que el anfitrión inhabilitó la función de compartir.
Ahí vamos.
Can you check?
Try again.
Hi everyone, I'm Sonata. Nice to meet you. Sonata is talking. Can you hear me? Have you a sound? Can you try if you have access to the USB. Okay, from here, yeah. Can you help me?
No, it's not working.
It's not working.
No, maybe
Not the right spot.
yeah. Okay, now, now it is. This one?
Yes. Perfect. So I them
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
some space to put it. Video and slides.
Okay, and can you open the
And,
slides?
So how to
Now,
share it? Then share with the help with the next one. Video.
¿Veis la presentación bien?
Ok.
¿Está ahí bien la presentación? ¿Se ve bien? Okay. Well, if you want, we can start. I'm going to introduce to my students here in Cantabria and students there in Argentina in the Universidad Nacional del Litoral. It's a sister university. We are we are related right now. I'm going to visit there in August again. And again, we have Sonata Staniuliene. Sorry about that. She's visiting us for a couple of days from Vytautas Magnus University from Lithuania. And she's going to lecture yourself about global resource management. And well, if you have questions from Argentina, you can well, raise your hand virtually and you can ask questions. Here in Cantabria, we have it easier. And I want to say hello to Lina. Lina, she's also our contact between the University of Cantabria and Universidad Nacional del Litoral. I think that Sonata is going to start with a little bit about the university, just in case you want to visit the university in the future. And in Argentina, if you want to visit Europe, you have the option of visiting us in Cantabria, but also other parts of Europe. So I will let you with Sonata. Thank you.
Can we start from the video, short video on the desktop?
Well, thank you very much. We are here from Argentina. Thank you very much for organizing this event, this international event. It's very happy. We are very happy. Thank you very much. And well, good morning, all of you here in our university. And good afternoon there in Spain. Hello, Lina. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. And
hello, how are you?
hey, thank you very much. Elisa and Sonata, yes?
Yeah.
We are waiting for you here in our faculty.
Amazon descubrirás promoción.
Okay, I will work with the sound and advertisements first.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Yes?
Sí,
Yes. Okay.
oímos.
Well, let's start. Yes, we can.
Okay, we can start, and I'm putting on the sound.
Collaborations with universities from more than 60 countries. Open-minded, innovative, visionary. Ten faculties, 7,700 students, 660 lecturers, PhD offered in 18 science fields. National leader in the fields of social sciences, humanities, arts and biotechnologies. Better prepared for future challenges. A place of life-changing experiences surrounded by passionate people. Problem solving, decision making and creativity skills. Leader in the Baltic states with an international faculty. Active participant in globally recognized research programs. Over 700 international students coming every year. Vytautas Magnus University. Learn to see the whole picture.
So shortly, I was to show you how it looked like if you would like to visit Lithuania and our university. And the next part, I would like to go with my slide. Can you see it on your screen shared, or I should press something?
Yes.
Yes.
You can see. Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So shortly, I would like to present the university I'm from, so Vytautas Magnus University, and on my chest also you can see this Grand Duke Vytautas Magnus, why I'm here, because some ancient period of Lithuania in the history, he was creating the country, and so that's why he's famous. Lithuania from this time was from Baltic to the Black Sea, so it was a huge country. Now we are smaller because of our neighbors, but still it's a part of history. So a bit about this northern eastern part of the Europe. I hope you would visit someday. Lithuania, member of European Union, OECD, NATO. Lithuanian language, it's very different, very difficult, one of the most difficult languages in the world, because it's one of the oldest spoken languages in the world. It's not Slavian, it's Baltic languages, Latvian and Lithuanian languages. Only two had left in the world from this language group. Population, it's about 3 million of people, currency euro, and we are like normal Europeans with all the situation of economics, and in several years we feel the same recession, but in Lithuania it's kind of technical recession. In figures we can find this, but in reality you don't. So everyone lives quite already good, and speaking figuratively, through the 30 years of independence after occupation of Soviet Union, we were first who were while ruining Soviet Union and escaped from this union before 30 years. And I think that we did enormous, huge job going from third world to the 90% of GDP earned today in Europe. So it means we are already normal Europeans, and we are proud of that because we have did this through the 30 years of independence. So very quickly everything is changing, and if you visit Lithuania today and after 10 years, it would be a different picture. Everything is changing very quickly. And here we see that economy is stabilized, and we showed the highest GDP through this year, 2023, in Europe, 2.9, when other countries are still in recession. And I think also it is quite good numbers. Yeah, we were suffering from the inflation as everyone in Europe, but now it's also normalized, and we expect good flows in the future as well. Our university is in the second biggest town in Lithuania. Lithuania is a small country, small cities as well, only 300,000 inhabitants. And it is 100 kilometers besides Vilnius capital. It's easier to take the train or the bus, 1 hour, and you will get to the capital. It's 11th place in the world in terms of business-friendly environment. We have free economical zones and a lot of modern technology used enterprises and international departments of such companies as Continental, Hellas, and so on. And they are producing high technology needed products for let's say, cars manufacturers in Germany, and so on and so on. So we have a lot of green spaces, parks, recreation areas around the corners, and we are student city. It's a lot of young people in our country and in our city, especially because we have 8 higher education institutions in small towns, and a lot of students, and it's established Lithuanian origin university, and it's a city in a crossroad, easy accessible from other directions. Our university is Artis Liberalis University. It means it works like in Harvard in America or a similar university. It means that a lot of courses are possible to be elective and chosen from the list. Let's say you should have one course from social science, from humanities, from arts, and so on and so on. And it's very broad spectrum of different courses. You are free to establish your own course list from your future career expectancies, and it's very flexible. It depends on the students. In Artis Liberalis systems, attendance is not compulsory, but freedom is huge responsibility, and it uses the cumulative score. And students always are responsible for their results themselves. We only are guiding and helping them and creating infrastructure for their needs. But the human, the student, it's on the first place, and everything is created around the student. So it is Artis Liberalis system. So our university is famous for that. And mission is to be community institutions. And values are, as you see, personal, academic freedom, democracy, openness, responsibility, the virtues. It is specific for Artis Liberalis University. We are in the main rankings as all good universities in European ranking, in North European universities, world universities, agriculture, performing arts, specific areas as well. The system of Artis Liberalis needs a lot of networking. What you get going to study in Artis Liberalis University is not only your degree, you are getting network of specialists. They would be necessary for you as a friends and colleagues for all your life. You know, so it's besides your studies, you get this if you know how to use it, as well as especially career skills and competencies from your field, as well as I told, it can be combined major and minor, and you can combine courses in your own. Individualization with the inclusivity and accessibility, intercultural communication. So as it was mentioned, a very mobile university because a lot of students and teachers are going abroad, as me as well. Quality assurance system. I'm also responsible for quality assurance and different kind of accreditation in our faculty, and multi-interdisciplinary studies, which are very flexible for the student who wants to find their own path in the world. Let's see, it's easy to combine business administration plus IT specialist work in one, and you get minor and major degree, and it's easy. So it's our students. Now we have already, it is statistic from previous year. This year is already 10,000 of students, 1,800, it's international students, graduates, average number of staff, first cycle program, second cycle program, 15 programs provided in English in bachelor degree, and 18 provided English from the second cycle, as well as doctoral degree, 24 program, and in 24 fields of science. 9 faculties, more than lecture rooms. Recently, we have several very new buildings. We enjoy them. The largest university sports center in Lithuania, leisure spaces, botanical garden, theater, student center, mentors programs, academies, Institute of Foreign Language, 31 languages available. You can learn everything from Norwegian to Turkish or Arabian, any kind of language you want. In the same program you're studying, as well as study-friendly environment, dormitories, psychological, law clinic to add, arts gallery, ambassadors, and so on, what is great for the students. Academic subdivisions, of course, all this information is available in internet. You can check with the code VMU, Vytautas Magnus University, .lt. You can find much more about that. Research priority areas, of course, they are in the same fields we are giving study programs. We are member of Transfer for Europe network with all these other universities. It's activities about digitalization of studies. And we use distant learning systems as well, hardly used still after pandemic. And students, they say they enjoy this. We are trying to create impact on social development, social, cultural, economic, environment impact, creating science and practical things with the help of the students' thesis. And what is impossible for most of the European students from your Erasmus network is student exchange. It is from Erasmus teaching visits. You can do your students exchange for half a year or for the whole year, and to get scholarship and to get dormitory from our university. So usually students says that it is normal living standards what they get, as well as you can get international traineeship, blended intensive program, or even a kind of internship for 2 months around. Go abroad to work in particular country, enterprise, and to go back to your university. So it's Erasmus system and a lot of mobility programs, of course, staff teachings as well. So in Erasmus studies, we have such a map, and that's why I'm here, because Spain is also matched in that network. Recently, I was in Brazil, last year in Jakarta, as well as in Canada, so I'm a hard traveler. Throughout the Erasmus network of universities, and I'm joining this, so encouraging you to travel as well. And a bit of information about our own faculty, so you'll find the link to see more information. What can be interesting for you: bachelor degree study program. In English, we have business administration and economics and finance, stable flows in English. So you can enroll to that program always. Others, it depends what year they have English flow or not. Doctoral studies, economic and management, as well as master degree study programs. And in English, it is International Executive MBA, as well as it's for executives usually. Well, it's not cheap, I should say, because on the high level. Sports Business MBA with the EuroLeague Basketball Institute. So me as well, every September, I'm coming to Barcelona for intensive distance, not distant, but contact lectures with the students, but most of the lectures are distance. So it's very interesting example of our collaboration. And we are preparing sports managers for specific institutions for EuroLeague as well. Other programs in English always, it is marketing and international commerce. Sometimes we have finance and international economics in English, so we have a group. So for marketing and international commerce, you can come for the whole program in English always, as well as sports business and international executive studies, if you would like to come to our university. As well, we are using, as you see, double degree with the Trento, Aveiro, Leuven Catholic University, and other universities from Europe for double degree. It means that with these studies, you get 2 degrees from 2 universities at once. And several proofs that we got some level in studies, and we are members of such a good known organizations and FMDI and others in our studies. And our new brand buildings and some contacts for you if you would like to see how we look like. So we are on the 6th floor on that new brand building. We joke we have apartments with a view of the city, you know. It's our place we are living. So that's it from my university information. If you are interested, so please check dmu.lt website, and you will find in English all possible information, or you can ask me always. I'm in contact. And that's it. I would go to my bunch of slides, and I think it is here. It is no. Okay. Can you see this? Okay. I think yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So
yes.
thank you for proving. So about global, or another word, international human resource management. So this is a topic I'm traveling throughout the world as well, and always this topic from my list is asked to talk. I think that it is well on concern for everyone. I think it is important for people. So let's start to understand something about internalization in businesses and how it relates to human resources management as one of the business areas. Yeah, we always say that we have marketing, finance, operations, as well as human resources, and the main business areas. Yeah, so we are talking about one business area, but particularly when it is relates to international or global companies. So it has some peculiarities. As well, we will cover some of inter-country differences affecting on HRM. I would abbreviate this. Yeah, you know that human resources management always is abbreviation HRM in the literature, as well as with the process of international assignments, expatriating, and the end is with the activities of international HRM management, how to manage all the process. So let's start from the first one. So what happens, like in that picture, with the world where a lot of transnational companies account more than half of world trade. So that means that it is important for us to study the peculiarities of global and transnational businesses. And the top 100 companies account 40% of worldwide assessments, the sales, assets, and employment. So 30% of employment, it is our own focus today. Yeah, so it relates to international HRM. So 30% of employees could be expatriates throughout the world. And we are talking mostly about this part of the employees. Physical location nowadays of value creation is very difficult to determine, and it's mixed, and it is not easy to trace where the service or the product starts and where it ends. In the process, much of the force of globalization comes through the mergers and acquisitions. And nobody knows when in your own company, new owner will come and will say, we will change these and those facts. Yeah. So you should be prepared because things would change after that. And it relates with the international human resources management. As well as always, we have possibilities to do other things like outsourcing to low labor countries, and we should make our own choice and decision. Usually countries first are outsourcing manufacturing, then processing services, now even white-collar workers. And in Lithuania, always we have plenty of global companies, the departments, and they are working with a particular specific services they are doing in different way, as well as manufacturing, but not especially low labor products, low wages needed products, but especially included high technologies we are keen in, biotechnologies and so on. Every country, they have our own advantages, where you are strong, you can outsource your activities, and you are also working for international company, headquarters are somewhere, but you are in your own country, but working not for your own country, let's say Spain or other country departments. So also everything is mixed in that world. It is possible as well. And as you can see from this picture, sometimes it's not even easy to greet people because nobody knows to give a hand or to do like that. I was in 2018, I was visiting Japan universities, very strange and unique experience, I would say. I also would encourage you to travel around the world to grasp something, an understanding about the special Eastern world, because it's a different part of the world with a different culture. And still, I was asking, what about globalization? Are you changing your own culture and attitudes? But no, they showed and they said that a lot of things are quite unique. They are isolated islands, and you should be prepared to find what you find in other part of the world when you are traveling for your business visits, business trips, or for expatriating experience. And let's say to work for a Japanese company, well, you should be ready, mentally at least. It would be another part of the world. And foreign countries can provide a business with a new market, so they are striving for global businesses and departments to establish companies set up operation overseas because of lower labor costs, or on contrary, because of some competencies they can find anywhere else, as well as, let's say, lost in Taiwan. It's unique, yeah, and where to get them in other parts of the world. Technology makes it easy for the companies to spread work around, and global activities are simplified, encouraged by trade agreements among nations. Let's say in Europe, it's maybe easiest way. Organizations need employees who understand the customers and suppliers in foreign countries, and organizations need to understand the laws and customs that apply for employees in other countries. So it is the realm of international HRM. It concerns with the human resources problems of the multinational firms and the foreign subsidiaries with the unfolding HR issues that are associated with the various stages of internalization process. So this is the describing the realm what we are analyzing. And we are talking about these 30% by statistics in the world. So they are called expat rates, employees assigned to work in another country. But I would say that the same material fits for everyone who wants to be kind of freelancer or independent entrepreneur. What I think it is the interest of Z generation, especially as I hear. I don't know if you prove it. And it means that for those who would like to work for any kind of organization in the world, staying in a particular country, not necessarily your own one. Let's say in Lithuania, it's very spread that even young people, they are leaving our country. Sometimes they are climate immigrants, I say, because of they want to visit other parts of the world. Let's say I know one girl, 30 years old already, no family, only friends, sometimes no friend, no children. She is traveling, and 1 year and a half she was living in Brazil, in São Paulo region. Next, she was in Lisbon, Portugal, then returned to Lithuania for 5 months near the seaside. We have seasides, yeah, near the Baltic Sea. It's kind of pleasant during summer to be here, as well as she was living in London, and even I forget other from the West. So she's changing location every year, and she's a freelancer working for international marketing company and creating content for the media sites. So isn't it the dream? What do you think about? So it's also about kind of expatriating, but by your own will, you know? You are not sent by the company, you are choosing contracting with a particular company for some period of time, but you feel all the things I would talk today in this hour about international HRM, you know? So for those people who would like such kind of career, this fits as well, not only for the expatriates, okay? So when organization operates overseas, they hire usually a combination of parent country nationals, host country nationals, and third country nationals, kind of these freelancers. Now, so this can be, especially in geocentric mindset, it can be the combination of different origin employees. And about some statistics about expatriates destinations. Most frequently selected as the USA, China, UK. Most challenging from this research appears China, India, Russia. Breakdown of international assignments by type. Usually it is long-term, 64%, short-term 22%, one-way 11%, other 3%. What does it mean long-term? For what period of time usually people are going for expatriation? As I was telling about freelancer example, it is for 5 months, 1.5 year period, but usually when we can talk about expatriation, usually it lasts from 2 years to 5-6 years. So it's long term. What does it mean? It means consideration about family life, about, well, culture, where you're living. So it relates to these things. It will be covered later. But how it is going on. So here I will try to explain how companies get global event if they get, but they can be stuck in some middle. So parent country, usually from the first, they are creating domestic corporate headquarters. After some time, especially in such a market, such a small market, it's economical term, like Lithuania, Latvia, or other small countries in Europe, not the Spain case, no, it's a huge country in consideration. In small markets, when you are creating business, you grow up quickly from that market. And new customer ends. What to do next? To go abroad. You know, in Spain, you can have plenty of potential clients in other parts of the Spain still. In Lithuania, only 3 million of inhabitants. That's it. You quickly cover all the territory, and normally you are going somewhere to the neighbor's country, isn't it? So usually it's around, physically, geographically around. So those companies who are successful, let's say in Lithuania, usually they go to Latvia, Poland, and even more far, let's say we have which companies also in the northern region of Spain because of fish, fresh fish, and the sea. And also we have such a collaborations. And here, of course, while it depends on political situation, we have such neighbors as Kaliningrad, which is Russia, Belarus on the other hand, nowhere to go, you know, in that context. So we are splitting more like a Winted, our unicorn, when it's in e-platforms, it can be used worldwide. So this is normal path for the companies. They are going from domestic first to international, spreading geographically. And they still have corporate headquarters usually in their own country, but it's not the stable case. You will see in your cases. We will analyze tomorrow. It can be quitting with a corporate headquarters in your country and going to some host country, always available. And you are establishing first foreign subsidiary after some successful time, another foreign subsidiary around geographically and spreading. So this phase is international. Next, if you see that there is some logic, some establishment can be because of low wages, some of them can be because of accessible competencies in another part of the world, some for another reason, I don't know. So multinational stage, when you have corporate headquarters and a lot of foreign subsidiaries around the world, but with the logic, why it's needed to have such a subsidiary in that particular country and area because of some reason. And usually this reason is some material one. And when we pursue global strategy, we think that we are such a company, we should be accessible in the main points of the world. And it can be not economical reason it, but we should be like McDonald's or Coca-Cola or other global companies or Nike, let's say, you should find them everywhere. It is profitable or not is the second question. Usually losses from one country is covered from another country's plus. It depends. Maybe they are all successful, it can be, but it's not the clause. And then these subsidiaries are, let's say, interlinked. Here, it's less interlinked. So this is increasing participation in global markets. And guess what happens with the HRM? It's also are getting more and more globalized from international to multinational to global stage. And here we have some international employees in foreign subsidiaries in multinational mode more and more. In corporate headquarters, your own parent country employees. Here we have mix with the managers usually from the domestic country and local employees. Here it can be already geocentric orientation. It doesn't matter from where our employees are. The most important thing is they have competences and can work with our wages. So this is the context why we need expat rates or other countries' employees, immigrants and so on, because of these processes. And how in strategy we employ the understanding how we are treating employees in foreign country, it depends, and we have different attitudes. Usually these attitudes are free, but this is like a process, as you see, from first to the last. I'm always not showing something. I would try to move in order to see the whole view, okay? So early stages of internalization usually related with the ethnocentric international HRM. What does it mean? Ethnocentric, you mean that the management, the strategy, the culture, the competencies, everything is the best in your own parent country. You think like that. Maybe it's not true, but it's your attitude. What does it mean? Everything goes from headquarters. And they are telling to the, let's say, international companies, foreign subsidiary to do like that, and that's it. Because they think it's the truth and the best variant. But usually it's the starting point. And after some time, in the cases tomorrow, you will see how they get the understanding that it can be not true, that other attitudes can work as well, and we should be more flexible. But usually, if you don't learn these theories, you start ethnocentric orientation and telling what to do for them. And sometimes struggling, oh, it's not working. It worked in our own country. What happened? So we will see in these cases what happens. Okay, and they see HRM barriers, they see different cultures, they see different customers, and so on and so on. And then they go to multi-local strategies, and they can be more ethnocentric, region-centric, but they are local strategies. They understand that in that particular countries, you have different culture, different laws, different customers, different employee competencies, etc. And you should try to adjust your business model to local things. And through the multi-local strategies, at the end, usually you establish regional strategies closer to the global, and the ending point is geocentric orientation. What does it mean? It doesn't matter from where employee is. Matter what competencies he has or she has, and this is the main thing. And you see from ethnocentric through local strategies to the geocentric, it's natural process, natural path in your understandings. And usually with the business, it's changing, as a Porter said, think globally, act locally. From strategic management, it's very good known saying. Yeah? Okay, so now we already grasp what is going around, why we need international HRM, and then we can go for the specific and inter-country differences affecting on HRM, and we will study in some slides every of them. Let's start from the culture. So culture is a community set of shared assumptions about how the world works and what ideas, ideals are worth striving for. And if you are traveling, then I shouldn't explain you how culture differs. So when you are only in one country, you cannot understand this. You should feel it simply. I think that some of you are, maybe most of you are international students, and you know this on your own experience, isn't it? So even being neighbors in Europe, you can feel these differences. And culture can greatly affect countries' laws. So that's why even being in the same European Union, you can have slightly different laws, which affects labor HRM, labor force situation. Culture influences what people value, so it affects people's economic system and efforts to invest in education as well. Cultural characteristics influence the way members of the attitudes towards various HRM practices as well, you will see. Cultural differences can affect how people communicate and how they coordinate the activities, the way how they work. For the expatriate assignments, organizations may need to conduct extensive selection process to identify individuals who can adapt to new environment, and because of cultural reasons, it can be not affordable for not flexible people. You know, and organizations must prepare managers to recognize and handle cultural differences in case of expatriation. So they should recruit people with the knowledge of other countries and provide extensive trainings for that. Another thing is about education and skill level factors, because they also can be different in different countries. Companies with a foreign operation locate in countries where they can find suitable employees. And what they can deliver, of course, examples of Lithuanian story. So I was mentioning 3 economical zones near Kaunas. And it is huge, I should say. A lot of huge plants were established from the zero on the green ground. And how they came. They came to municipality, and first question what they asked, yes. Is it possible in that region to find suitable, competitive, having competency human resources? This was the first question. The next was about taxes, about laws, and other things. First question was about the most valuable resource, human resources. So when we are sure that in Kaunas we have 8 universities, one very strong in technical things, our own very strong in social and humanities, and the whole scope is covered from medicine, engineering, arts, and so on. They were they left with understanding that it is capable, that we can't afford to give them and prepare every year a decent amount of employees they would need. And only then they sign the contract, you know. So this thing is of the most important, I should say, and then only other things. So the education and skill levels of the country labor force affect how and the extent to which companies want to operate here. And it can be very low wage country, but how to find suitable employees, they know what they are doing, and you shouldn't stand behind them to show what to do, because it's very costly if you expatriate huge amount of managers. So in countries with a poorly educated population, companies will limit their activity to low skill, low wage jobs. Would you like to have this in your country? I'm not sure. Okay, let's go further. Economical system. Of course, count. Economic system provides many of the incentives or disincentives for developing the value of labor force. In developing countries with a great wealth, labor costs are relatively high. This impacts compensation and staffing practices. Income tax differences between countries make pay structures more complicated when they cross national boundaries, and we will talk about money at the end of this lecture. Okay, political legal system factors. While we are in the European Union, but still we have peculiarities, and countries' laws often dictate the requirement for each brand practices. The training, especially compensating, especially hiring, firing of the employee. It depends how strong labor unions are, and layoffs, strikes, other peculiarities, and cultural practices as well. Let's say, as I see, let's say France, Germany, labor unions are much, much stronger than Lithuanian ones, you know? Because if Lithuania is not, Lithuanian employee is not happy about the workplace, simply leaves. The next day, they don't appear in the workplace, that's it. And they easily find another job if they are good specialists. But, you know, we are more introverts, not me, but most of the Lithuanians. And usually they find the better job very quickly, because in Lithuania it's easy to find a good job if you are a good specialist. We are in demographic crisis, but in front of Ukrainians and Belarusians inflow of labor force, we are happy, because without them it would be very difficult in that moment, because nobody from the youth wants to work, especially for low wages. So we have that in our labor market. And you know, every labor market can have their own differences because of laws as well, but because of situation as well. So an organization that expands internationally must gain expertise in the host country legal requirements, to have advocates and consultations about the ways of dealing with the legal system. And organizations will hire one or more host country nationals to help in this process, usually. And organizations establish overall policies and goals for labor relations, overseeing labor agreements and monitoring labor performance. Let's say I heard one story about the past potential investment to Goodyear company in France. But then they came to France after 3 weeks. This potential investment says, thank you, no. I understood the law, how I would fire these employees I don't need. It is too difficult, I'm leaving, sorry. You know, but you should understand this. You should do your own research. and to do your own decision because of that. Because he saw that after acquiring that department, firing decisions would be made because of the situation in that case, you know? So it's about legal things you should know. You know about law. It's your responsibility to know the law. You can't say that I didn't know. It didn't know. It doesn't help, you know? So you should know. The day-to-day decisions about labor relations are usually handled by each foreign subsidiary. About European HRM specificity, it differs from, let's say, American management, because in Europe, we have more emphasis on the individual. Let's say in the United States, we have also kind of Western management school, but they are having more emphasis on management. Why in Europe is different things. We have more attention to social partners. We are more about CSR as well as stakeholders' interest. In Europe, it's more important than in other Western countries. As well, in a lot of countries, governmental interventions are more severe and possible. More restricted employer autonomy in laws and market processes work better for the potential employee. And emphasis are on workers and on the group of workers, collective bargaining and so on, comparing with the, let's say, United States. And when you have a global company and you have departments in USA as well in Europe, you should take into account these specificities in law, as well in cultural things. And now we see that need for Euro managers, if we can call like that, is increasing, because Euro managers are able to think in European way. It's localized in their attitudes and behaviors. What does it mean, localized? Think global, act local. It's localization, localized attitudes and behavior. European managers, comparing with, let's say, USA managers, better understand local nuances and tastes and preferences, because we are used to live in one union of different nations, cultures, languages, and so on. We are better managing people of different cultural heritage and nationality in a flexible way. We bring a diverse team together, and for us it's normal and easy. And most of the Europeans, especially from small countries like Lithuania, learn at least one additional foreign language. And we can say the situation, huge countries like Spain as well, France, Germany, Italy, they think that it's enough of their own language, especially Spain, because a lot of other countries abroad are talking Spanish, yeah. USA, the same. Managers think that everybody should talk English, and this is enough. What about Lithuanians? You won't survive with Lithuanian ever in every country. Usually Lithuanians talk young people English, old people Russian, because of the history. We were occupied for 40 years. Yeah, so most people have at least some knowledge of 2 or 3 languages. Let's say English plus 1, German, Russian, or other language, and it's normal. So Europeans, especially from small countries, usually talk at least 2 languages, and of course they are more flexible and better fitted for preparation, isn't it? So increasing need for Euro managers are very important. After all this, would you consider taking a foreign assignment for a 6 months to 1 year duration at least? Well, in a mode of Erasmus Plus studies, let's say, yes or no? If you are here from other countries than Spain, I think that more yes. Or after your practice, you wouldn't suggest this experiment. Or you don't know still. You would know only after exams. But what concerns cultural, economical part, yes? If yes, before you took a foreign assignment, what would you want to know? What is important for you from all these things I was covering? What more? You should already know because you already tried on student life. Are you working at the same time? Even yes. Lithuanian students are working hard as well. Working, studying, everything. We are hard workers usually, striving for better life and developing very quickly in the case, you know. So it is normal to study and work in the same time. It is possible if you want. Yeah. Okay, so if you're interested, let's go further. International assignments. Motives to use foreign assignments. Managers acquire international skills because you can still work for your company for ages in your country and not consider expatriation, but still, you want a career, you want to understand how the company is ruled throughout the world, so then you should go at least to try foreign assignment. And then for the company especially, it's very important to be able to coordinate and control operations dispersed activities because they are far geographically. You can't see it. You haven't understandable evidence what is going on. Maybe they are hiding the truth. We would know after some time where it would be too late to change something. So we should have a spy in that foreign department, isn't it? So that's why expatriation is used. One of the reasons, not only because of international career. Well, in Japan, have you heard about Japanese management system? What they use, they say that the best CEO is the man or woman who tried all the possible positions in different places through all the career, at the end of the career, stepping to CEO position. And we can understand this point of view, and this is related to the first point. Managers acquiring international skills, broader understanding about everything what is going on in global companies, they would be perfect CEOs of the future. So this is one of the reasons as well why we are using expatriation. And the last one here in the list is communication of local needs, strategic information to headquarters to make reasonable decisions about particular department, profitability, and how they are going on. So how for people emotional cycle associated with a foreign assignment goes through. It is kind of in marriage as well. First stage is honeymoon. So, oh, how fine, how interesting. I'm the second day in Santander as well. For me, it's honeymoon. I love the city, perfect weather it was no rain still. I've, of course, already bored in Lithuania, so I'm looking for sunny days and everything is perfect around sea, sand, and so on. But honeymoon, as you know, one day ends. And then we feel culture shock. Oh, they think like this, they are doing that, it's not understandable, it's not normal. Are they crazy? And so on. You are not understanding what is going on, and you are not having the logical proof what they are doing, and you are against this. So after cultural shock, you should one day to feel a recovery. Okay, I would like to be tolerant. I can try to understand this from this point of view, from that angle. Maybe it is possible to do like that. When you are thinking like that, you are in a recovery phase. And adjustment, you're changing your attitudes. And let's say that part of the Europe, northern one, are more strict in time. Spain is famous for mañana. And when you really change your attitude to time, you are in adjustment phase. Good example, I think, yes. So we can go further. Impressions, how cultures collide, how we are stepping from honeymoon to cultural shock. Some citations. A visitor from India about Americans. Americans seem to be in a perpetual hurry. Just watch the way they walk down the street. They never allow themselves the leisure to enjoy life. There are too many things to do in your job. Visitor from Ethiopia about Americans. The American is very explicit. He wants yes or no. If someone tries to speak figuratively, the American is confused. It is?
We were just talking about this.
Okay. A visitor from Colombia. The tendency in the United States to think that life is only work hits you in the face. Work seems to be the one type of motivation. And a visitor from Iran, I guess from the students' mobility. The first time my American professor told me I don't know the answer, I will have to look it up, I was shocked. I asked myself why he's teaching me. In my country, a professor would give the wrong answer rather than admit ignorance. Isn't it cultural shock? Yes, it is. So be ready for these things. Not understanding what is going on, why it is so, where is the logic, and it should be like that. And you should go through all the process of understanding different cultural attitudes in different countries. Only then you will be happy with your choice for international assignment. And more you travel, I'm talking from my experience, I would say that more better you get different things. And I would encourage you when you are traveling or getting international assignments or changing your work place where you are living and working as a freelancer, I would encourage you to take it like a games with the specific rules told by this company, international company. And you are in that game and gaming with these rules, and that's it. And enjoying the game. This is not reality. You are trying on only, you know, it's your experiment. And if you are curious, you want to know what at the end point and where it would lead. You like learning on doing at the same time. So then international assignments would be successful. But on contrary, if you are afraid of changes, if you are not flexible personality, more authoritarian one, when you think that your truth is only one, so then don't try international assignments. It would be hard for you for personality. It depends, you know. Okay, let's go further. Other reasons for expatriation failure. Sometimes it's not only because of personality of managers we are delivering today, but also level of responsibilities. Usually when you go abroad, you are saying yes because it's some step forward to your higher career position. Because let's say you are offered some manager's position and you are saying yes, but you haven't tried on such a responsibility. Sometimes it's too hard for you. Also, sometimes it's lack of technical proficiency of different job as a job designed. And if it is lack of motivation for assignment, material motivation as well, we will talk at the end. It's about manager himself or herself. Next point is about family reasons. Let's say spouse fails to adapt. Sometimes it happens that because of spouse, some manager, expatriated manager at the end says, no, I don't want to leave, because they don't want to break a family simply. You know, it can be because of cultural reason or other reasons. Spouse can have their own career, let's say here in our parent country, and don't want to lose. They don't want to break family to one member is working here, another there, and other reasons. So other problems with the family usually is children. And from Lithuanian experience, I would say that a lot of Lithuanians, as Irish people as well, we left Lithuania in hard times in the beginning of independence. I'm talking about 2000, 2004, let's say in this period of time, because it was only start of economic development. And after a lot of years now, in 2024, they are returning with the family. They have already children. Let's guess, what language the children speak? Not Lithuanian. Why? Because life happens in another country, mostly UK and Norway, because of higher salaries. And can you imagine what kind of problems they have? Children says that we don't know that country and we don't want to return. Some of them want, it depends. Because of that, most of the young families, immigration families with a spouse and expatriating period, they take the decision to come home with the whole family till the first year of their children going to the school. You will see it's a magic period. 6-7 years, it depends on the system. Lithuania, 6-7 years. And when they already have children, usually it's very convenient to have, let's say, husband working for international assignment, spouses living together with their husband in that foreign country, and in her maternity leave, and one after another children comes, and then their children grow up till the school age, and they're returning back to home country because they understand what happens from other examples with their children afterwards if they are left in that country. You are losing your origin and your language, your culture. So it's under consideration. But you already have 5-7 years for expatriation. It's a very long time, you know. You can do very good international career through that time. It depends. Now, so it's some examples from the practice. I don't want to talk only about theory, no? Okay, so it's not only about manager. So please travel when you're young without family. It is easy, believe me. Okay, my already teenager, I'm happy about that. So I can travel already. So it's another part of the life. Yeah? Okay, going further, repatriation. It also can be hazardous. As I told about children, about manager himself or herself as well, because they can feel a reverse culture shock returning. So virtually all repatriated personal experience, some personal difficulty in reintegrating on return home. Job-related factors, they feel that out of sight, out of mind. Everybody forgot about that, about them, that they are the members of that organization. So you get new colleagues, yeah. Loss of status and pay relatively peaking in that particular country, loss of autonomy, lack of recognition of valid experience. They don't understand what to value, you should explain. And lack of career direction because you are messing a little bit in your path around the countries. And social factors, expatriates must relearn and national and organizational cultures. And a lot of people coming from, let's say, Norway or UK or other countries, they say, okay, I was living in Singapore, the things were like that in that country, why they are not like that in Lithuania? They are not. So it's also a reverse cultural shock. Includes whole family, the same problems with the spouse. After, let's say, 5 years of being in maternity leave to find new job. Difficult. Problems with the peer support for teenagers, as I was telling the examples, also they exist. So we should do precise work to avoid all pitfalls they were discovered in this path. And the fourth part of our lecture is about how to improve international human resources management because of these hazardous pitfalls they can happen. So you can see here the same known activities of HRM. In normal one country HRM, you are doing such activities: planning labor force, recruiting potential employees, then selecting the right ones, then orientating and training, appraising, compensating, and improving labor relationships. Well, several more can be added about health and security or others, but we won't go to the details because all these activities that would be discovered in international focus. So we would be more specific. What about international HR planning? So we are not only in front of countries' labor force, but in global labor force. What does it mean? Not 3 million of Lithuanians, but 7 billion of citizens of that planet, isn't it? Is it different? I think so. Okay, human resources planning involves decisions about where and how many employees are needed for each international facility. And of course, sometimes it's difficult to gather information from foreign subsidiaries. Decisions about where to locate include considerations such as the cost and availability of qualified workers, what we discovered already. These considerations must be weighted against financial and operational requirements, and other location decision involve outsourcing, and we can use them as well instead of planning of potential candidates. A little bit of practice. Even in Europe, we have differences. We can have some examples. Career management system represents formal HR planning, which is inappropriate in Islamic country, vice versa, determined in Europe. Let's say in France, where they are more using in planning, computerized system, kind of engineering approach. Comparing in USA, concrete results, there are criteria for selection and promotion. And this is not the situation of UK, whereas it should be school and family background as well as in France. What about Japan? Japan job descriptions are vague. They are flexible to fit uncertainty, to strengthen the bond, individual things. And this is opposite in USA and France specified more job mobility between organizations, as well as in France, they value math and science diplomas, but not in USA and UK. They prefer HR generalists, and Europeans are more international orientated than USA because of already discovered reasons. So you see that even in different countries, if you are going for expatriation or you are working for HR in particular organization, in HR department, I mean, so you should cover all the differences in different countries. You have your own departments and to see differences. Next activity is after planning. We can expect we have a plan list of employees we need to recruit, and the quality and quantity of these employees, we can go to recruiting. Recruiting candidates for international assignments. What is the most important things? A little bit of difference from traditional recruiting, isn't it? It's motivation to go abroad, to be like me, hard traveler, because I love to travel. Other things, they think that, oh, it's difficult. For me, it's better to sit at my home chair, you know? So it depends on the personality. So you screen for motivation for traveling. First thing, health. You need to be healthy. Let's say to go, my previous experience, to go for Brazil. I also was visiting Peru, 6 and 8 hours difference, you know? So flight lag. And then next morning you are going to work for teaching lectures. Sometimes it's not easy, no? It's easier, Lithuania and Spain, only 1 hour difference. So as well as to sit 40 hours in a plane, getting from one country to another, somebody would say, oh, I don't need that, yeah? Or I have, let's say, heart diseases, problems with the blood pressure or something like that. And they are not enough healthy to have international assignments even. So this is not about discrimination. This is about very important things, because afterwards we can get illnesses, more severe situations of particular people. So we should avoid that and to screen our potential candidates for the health situation. as well as language availability, as already we explained, that better to know more languages. And let's say if expatriation is a Spanish-talking country and our potential candidates know Spanish, it's perfect, you know, so you should look for such kind of expatriate. Family consideration, already discovered, and it's also not about discrimination asking, do you have children? You shouldn't even ask such a things by law, usually in European countries. Do you know that? But you should ask consideration. What about your family? Are they encouraging you to go abroad? Is it okay with that? What help of our international department would be needed for family consideration? How we can help you about that? Let's say to find kindergartens and so on and so on. Simply saying in material things. So it's not about discrimination. It's about infrastructure. Yeah. Okay, going further, resourcefulness, adaptability, career planning, as well as financial things. We will talk at the end of that lecture. And going further, as you see from different countries, we can have different situations. Let's say, what about graduation rank? Is it important in recruitment? Unimportant for French managers, for example. What about technical and specialist skills? Are they preferred in recruiting? Not a major consideration for the English, Italians, and it's written that in Spanish, isn't it? I don't know, but it's the data of that research. Okay. Maybe social things are more important than technical ones because of the culture. International work experience, more important to the French and Italians. Graduation rank, the same. Academic background and age are very little important in you. Culture and nationality, the English, French, Italians play higher importance on the job candidates' cultural national origin than the Germans and Spanish respondents in that research. So we mean that we have differences. And the same when you work for HR department and you are a global company, you should take this to consideration. The next activity, let's imagine we have a pool of candidates. It's not a pool for swimming. It's pool of candidates, such as saying in that HR specific literature. So we have an explicit list of candidates fitting for, we think that fitting for international assignments. What to do with that list, with these candidates, how to select, how to know they are best. So criteria suggested for expatriation selection: competency in the employee's area of expertise, it's normal. Ability to communicate in the foreign country, you see that it is more specific one. Flexibility as well, tolerance of ambiguity situations, sensitivity to cultural differences. There should be criteria in expatriation case. Motivation to succeed, enjoyment of challenges. Do you enjoy challenges? Or they are problems for you? If they are problems, don't be expatriate. You should enjoy, like in a game, how to react in that situation. It's joyful to succeed, to do better, yeah, to strive. So then expatriation is for you. Willingness to learn about foreigners' country's culture, even language to learn through several years, and customs as well, and of course support from family members. These are suggested criteria for expatriation. Going further, with this, some examples. So, is selection everywhere the same for expatriation? Of course, no. And that research, IBM, do you know they are using I've Been Moved program? It means that IBM avoid power accumulation of managers by moving them every 2 years. And I know a lot of such kind of organization, Lithuania as well. Let's say my friend is working as an IT specialist in a pharmacy company, and their CEO of that foreign department in Lithuania, in Vilnius, is changing every 3 years. And now they have Germany citizen. And after 3 years, they would have another one. but the company is established in Austria as well as in Germany mostly. So in this case, it's more political than instrumental orientation. Bootcamp tactics of IBM to create professional armies of corporate soldiers. It is not well accepted in Europe, you know. In USA practice, they want to build a career of universal soldier of every kind of department. It is not personalized, and now in Europe, where we are different ones, it is difficult to do. And artifacts of corporate culture in USA seen in Europe as an intrusion into private realm of individual, and USA formal and personal control distracts Europe in formal personal control. So here we can see that selection and socialization in practice in different countries can be also different, and we should take into account these differences. Already we have selected new employees. What to do? First thing is socialization as previous training, and then future training and development of global workforce. And when organizations hire an employee to work in a foreign country, the employer needs to provide the employees with a training in how to handle the challenges associated with working for a foreign country. So it's very specific training, you know, about particular country, about particular position, not your own only universal ones. And international differences among trainees, developing a training plan and preparing employees and even family members, not only employee, but family members, let's say spouse or children as well. You know, you should help all the family if they already have family for assignment to a foreign country. And the training covers all three phases: preparation for departure, the assignment itself, and preparation to the return home, as it was discovered before. Also needs additional training. And it depends. It can be high training rigor, when techniques can be field trips to host country, meetings with the manager experience in host country, meet with the nationals, and intensive language training. And here it is a very huge job and very explicit training plan. And what does it mean, intensive learning training? What time period do you suggest to learn new language? At least half a year, you know? So what does it mean? This training program should be very explicit. If we need to train new language, new culture, everything from the new. Sometimes these selected persons, they are sent to that subsidiary only to look around, even not to start to work, but to come back and to say yes or no, to try on, like a job shadowing practice, you know, for 1 month or for 1 week, it depends. And only then making the final decision to go for expatriation or as in Hamlet, yes or no, to be or not to be, yeah, in that way. It can be mid-level training rigor, and of course some companies tries to save. They are doing all experiential learning exercises, some role-playing, simulations, case studies, surviving learning training, and that's it. But it's not, it's quite much, you know, it's mid-level. Well, sufficient background, at least lectures, videos, reading background material. Is it enough? I'm not sure. You are risking if you are giving to your future expatriate only this. But it's at least minimum what you should do as HR specialist. So preparing expatriate, you can do as it was listed in 3 modes. Pre-assignment visit, coming that and back and saying yes or no, job orientation, country orientation. You see, the list is longer than in normal preparing, adaptating activity. So culture orientating plus, yeah, language training plus, compensation benefits, taxes, counseling, it is important. So it's plus than ordinary adaptation and socialization. Housing counseling as well, plus healthcare, schools, shopping, recreation counseling, counseling by returning expatriates as local sponsorship from host country as well. So as you see, you should build training plan and to invest a lot of. So then you can ask, is it really you should do expatriation? Maybe localization is better. I don't know. In every situation, we can have your own decision, but you see that the most companies, the most affordable usually is to start from ethnocentric position. So they are sending a lot of expatriating managers and doing everything, sometimes failing, sometimes not. And then only going to understanding of geocentric orientation. So challenging also performance appraisals can be of expatriates, because on one hand, they are spies, so they know what is going on in foreign subsidiary. From another part, on the other hand, we don't know how they are going on in that distant location because we can't see them. So it is issue about unreliable data, complex volatile environments, time differences even for communication and distance separation, local cultural situations. Differences may include which behaviors are rated, how at the extent which performance is measured, who performs the ratings, and how feedback is required. And when we have localized strategies and attitude, and the system of motivation, control, reporting are different in different subsidiaries, it's the whole mess. How to assess that expatriated person when we don't see, so out of the mind, out of the sign. So it's also issues we can find in this, and compensating for international workforce is the last, and I think that the most interesting thing, isn't it? Let's talk about money. Marked pay structures can differ substantially across countries in terms of both pay level and the relative worth of jobs. And this creates a dilemma for global companies. Should pay levels and differences reflect what workers are used to in their own countries? Should pay levels and difference reflect the earnings of colleagues in the countries of the facility or earnings at the company's headquarters? Compensation decisions affect the company's cost and ability to compete. We already see that. Training plan is huge, it's costly. Compensation, if give for the employees more, it's costly. So really pays off? That is a question. Competing in low wages countries can be very difficult because low wages here. So what to suggest for expatriate? Yeah, because low wages are used in that country. Decisions about benefits must take into account also the laws of each country involved, as well as employees' expectations and values from those countries. Let's say when we are talking about laws, usually laws includes the minimum wage, the minimum salary, categories of particular specialists. And here you should oblige, and you can say no for the laws. Yeah, so you should know. To understand the things better, I would like to pay your attention to these things, that earnings in selected occupation, even in one country, can be very different with their own labor market logic. Because I don't know why in this country, here it is not seen for a minute, but I would try to show what country is about. Oh, it's South Korea. I don't know why bus driver gets more salary than other specialists, but you should know when you are sending your own expatriate. You should analyze local global market and what salary to suggest because of that. In other countries, it can be quite equal levels. Let's say in Germany, in Mexico, maybe it's not so equal. In South Korea, huge differences. Another thing to consider, it is about most expensive cities and countries. And with the same salary, you want to live equally in different parts of the world. And here you can see the world's most expensive cities in 2023. And you can see that, your country can be in a different position comparing with those. And it's very difficult, let's say, from Spain to send people to work for let's say, for Singapore. So what does it mean? You should pay much more for equal level, but for another country, maybe for Mexico, to offer lower level. Would they would be happy or not? What do you think? Offer the salary lower they get here, but with understanding that, let's say, another country from, let's say, smaller wage countries, they would live better with a lower salary. Can you imagine that situation? It is, So you should consider these things as well. One more thing to give even more problematic points in that compensation system. Do you know that full-time equivalent, it's not the same in the whole world? Let's say, who are hard workers? The same South Korea. Who needs to work less hours from that list? Netherlands, Norway, France. So what is the difference? What is the full-time equivalent in your country? Do you know? For what hours per week or month you get the same salary? So in Netherlands, I barely remember, but it's about 35 or 37 hours in these countries. When we are talking about South Korea, it's 48 hours for the same salary. Really? Is it fair? So also the question. And when you are offering the salary, you should take into account this one as well, full-time equivalent price for 1 hour or for a week as used in UK or other modes. And then only to understand your approach to compensation system, most global companies are using balance sheet approach, but it's not single one used. But the balance sheet approach just manager compensation so that it gives the manager same standards of living as in the home country, plus a specific one, pay for, as it's called, for inconvenience of locating overseas, for expatriation, for your motivation to go abroad. Because without motivation, why I should go abroad? So if I would get better compensation, maybe yes. So this approach involves an effort by a global organization to ensure this expatriate made whole. And as a balance, it is cost and this is revenues, and you are trying to balance. Okay, it's about the same living standards, how it looks like. So let me show in this example. Home country salary, it's income taxes, housing, goods, services, reserve. It's your balance. And in host country costs, you see that, let's say, this amount should be bigger. So what you should do, host country cost paid by company, and plus you see these spaces added in your compensation plan. And home country equivalent purchasing power is like this from this mode. Yeah, so this is the logic how we calculate the same living standards in a theory. Okay, we will see also not in a theory, but in the middle, compensating expat rates have other approaches as well. Parent country wages everywhere. What is the labor market in your country? Such a wage. You can find such a policy as well. It's your decision. We expat rates from allowance, pay based on local or regional markets. Sometimes cafeteria approach, selection of allowances. Have you heard about cafeteria approach? You have lump sum, and it depends what you prefer. Let's say you need kindergarten, but you don't need a car in that country because you don't have a driver license. Yeah, so it depends. We have a list of possibility. You have the limit, monetary limit, and you choose, like in a cafeteria from menu. So it also counts usually. Global pay system in global companies, sometimes the pay system is the same everywhere, and well, they don't care, you know, the same salary everywhere for manager. Sometimes it encourages managers to go abroad, let's say for low wages countries, but sometimes, like, let's say Switzerland, you won't survive with the same salary comparing, let's say, Lithuania or Spain, you know, so it depends. But such companies have a globalization strategy and they think it's enough. Why we need to balance? Why I'm encouraging, as most of the companies are using balance sheets? Because if compensation is too high, what happens? Then problems may be encountered to return to head office, because it's very good for them abroad. On contrary, if compensation is not adequate, too small, then there may be no incentive to go for international assignment, and there is no potential candidates. They are not interested for your offer, and expatriation won't happen because there is no candidates, you know? So you should balance. And you see that appraisal and compensation system differs from country to country as well. In Japanese firms, it's concerned for integrity, morality, and loyalty for the same company, not because of what you are doing, but how loyal you are for the company is the main thing. In MBO system, appraisal and compensation systems are linked. So you say practice, it's a Drucker principle. You say practice easily transferred in Denmark, and decentralization, less emphasis on hierarchy and formalization. But in France, consider it as an exercise of arbitrary power. In one Danish subsidiary, a proposal for incentive for salesperson was turned down because of egalitarian spirit. In northern countries, they understand fairness in a different way, you know? It should be equal for everyone. So that's why taxes are equaling everything, you know? In the same Denmark, one Mercedes is not enough. Need for a chauffeur, it's status concern. In other countries, monetary reward less motivating than vacation village. It's about quality of life and more preferred. And let's say in Nordic country, 85% of pension expected, but in Southern Europe, only 40%. So they are seeing their pension plan accumulating as well as one of the part of the compensation plan when they are leaving their own country. And it was, as you see, the lecture was combined from theoretical things, practices from the different countries, as well as my examples. And at the end, I see that some minutes are left for that experiment. Let's try to include you to the conversation as well. After all, discovering all the peculiarities, what is going on in global markets, going through the process with all the activities nature run, I would like to ask you such a questions. With the same question I was asking before, do you having in consideration to go abroad, let's say? And okay, I hope that you know not only your national situation, but Spain's situation as well, in Cantabria region as well, in Santander for the understanding better. And let's consider with the Vilnius, Lithuania, its capital city of Lithuania. A lot of foreigners, especially for Eastern Europe, as I already telling, are coming for working reasons as well, to Kaunas as well, but still. Okay, so talking about balance sheet approach, we are trying to establish some compensation system for expatriation. And now, of course, you are looking for your own perspective as a future expatriate. And we can calculate, and at the end, you would say yes or no. Okay, because of compensation system. So let's say in Vilnius for apartment rent, I would use for consideration 1 bedroom in a capital, so one bedroom flat, 2 rooms, 600 euros per month. Utility fees from 1 to 200, it depends how old is the building. because we need heating. Food, it depends where you eat. At home, if you are preparing food, 120 per month. If you are eating in restaurants for one person, it's about 500 for month. Average salary per month in Vilnius, it's average, it means with the workers as well, not only for managers. So it's about two hands, I'm saying, not brutto, but netto, you know? So after taxes, simply saying, it's 1,500. If we are talking all about managerial position, I should adjust that number. I would say that nobody would work for manager position in Vilnius from 2,000 euros, I think. Normal manager salary for a huge department or company is about 5,000, but it doesn't limit. It can be 10,000 and more. It depends on responsibilities, no? But I would consider about 2,000 at the lowest level of manager. Yeah, you have your team, you have your responsibilities in some area, let's say marketing manager with your team, you would get 2,000 euros as normal, normal average company. It depends on your success, yeah? Okay, so you can count what sum you get and staying situation. Can you count? What about apartment rent? One person, 2 room, 1 bedroom flat here. More or less.
I don't know how much they're
Have you
paying.
tried? Or you live in dormitory?
I don't know, I would say 800,
8.
900, yeah.
Okay, so 300 more. Utility fees. Less heating, maybe less. What price of electricity?
I would say 150.
In the middle, the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are not exaggerating. Okay, food. I don't know, you're eating at home or restaurants or some middle way. Are the prices the same or not? I would say here the price is a bit higher, but not too much. Maybe 20%.
It depends, but at home, I would say 200 euros per month. If you
One
live at
person,
home.
one person. Not a family, not two, but one.
Family, yeah, more.
At restaurants? Also exaggerating the sum or not? Much more? So? Less?
And
It depends on what you eat.
Of course.
and they come from the US.
Yeah. Oh, it's cheap for them. Yeah, I was last year in New York. I know what you're talking about.
And maybe you can ask for Argentina.
Yeah, of
And
course, again.
the situation in
Situation
Argentina
would be
is
different.
completely different because the exchange rate with peso argentino.
Okay, let's end with Spain and then we can go to Argentina case. Are you prepared? Please prepare for the question. Okay, can we take 200 and here, I don't know.
A little bit more if we combine 300, I would say.
300 here in the middle. Okay, so 200 plus around 300 for here, 200, so 500 already. Third level manager, line manager to hands, salary average. Spain. I voted for 2,000 in Vilnius. It's simple specialist, like I say, average salary, no workers plus managers, specialists in the middle. So such 1,500.
I would say a little bit more, but maybe 1,500. 1,500, 1,600, I would say.
Okay, so 200
more.
plus.
Yeah.
Okay, so here 500, but here only 200 minus. You are not in a profit, you know. I should say minus 300, isn't? Fear? We are right or not? You can adjust still. So if you have for the same living standard minus 300, what sum it should be here? Let's say you are sending from Spain, Santander, employee, you are this candidate. What you are saying, yes, your minimal sum. 3,000. Why as much? Isn't too much. What is your previous point of view? What you want to get as a premium for inconvenience? The same as a salary? You can think that you will stay at that country, let's say, from 2 to 5 years, 2, 3 years. So it's accumulating each month, yeah? After a year, let's say from 100, you already have 1,200 saved. So what will be per month this inconvenient payment? What you want to get more for saying yes? Is it 1,500? Less? Maybe less?
Which is the average, more or less?
Mm-hmm. The average can differ, but usually it is, I don't know, 20, 30 to 50%, not more. It depends on the company. So it's agreement, it's bargaining, you know? So it depends. But you should be prepared. You are called as a potential candidate, and you should come with your own decision, with your own sum. And you should be prepared to say yes or no. So that's why we are doing such experiment. You're international students. I don't know, would you return to your home, or would you stay here or go for the third country to work? But you should be prepared for that question, the reality. So that's why we are trying to do that now. And of course, HR specialists would think about this from their own position, you know? And you should bargain. It's negotiation. So, what is your final decision for yes? The minimum sum, you would say yes to go to Vilnius? One proposal was 3,000, I understand, yeah? Another proposal. A month. 800?
1,800.
Oh, 1,800. So 400 plus.
Yes.
Okay. Less or more? Agreeing or not?
2,000, I would say.
2,000. So 600 for inconvenience. Is it fair? Okay, so you see that the limits are very various and it's normal. And one after another potential candidates will be asked to do the same, and you're bargaining with each of them as your potential candidates. And from all of you, one said 3,000, one said 1,008, 2,000. It depends on the other side, HR specialist, which will be chosen. But what you guess? I guess that you will be winner. Maybe your teacher, I don't know, because maybe competencies, family reasons would be considered as well. But I suppose that your offer wouldn't be neglected. I'm sorry. Maybe you're not motivated to go to Lithuania for work because of that. But this is how life is going on. Okay, let's ask Argentina. What is your price? Have you calculated already? So what is your average salary, apartment rent, utility fees, food? You can say simply the percentage. Let's say I can guess they are lower. Am I right? or I'm not, because I haven't visited Argentina anytime. Do we have a voice or a sound?
I think that apartment rent is 400.
400. So minus the 200. Okay.
Utility fee 2,000. 200. And food.
Same. Food.
Food is same. At home is cheaper than restaurant or
The same. Okay. And average salary for a line manager?
the salary remedy is 100, yeah, maybe. I would improve.
So average salary, sorry, once more?
1,000.
1,000.
1,000. So 500 less. So we had minus 200 from the rent, but minus from the salary 400. So we are in minus 200. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we have this consideration in calculation. So the last question, what is the average or distinct sums of your students as a minimum salary? They say yes for foreign assignment to Lithuania.
¿Cuánto debería cobrar alguien si te piden que vaya a Lituania?
Considering inconvenience pay. So you earn 1,000, but you can save 200.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Balance sheet. So at the end,
Will you repeat?
okay.
Traduzco. ¿Cuál debería ser la paga que estaríais dispuestos a recibir en una, si os llamasen para ir a Lituania, considerando esa parte de inconvenientes? ¿Por cuánto estaríais dispuestos a ir a trabajar a Lituania por 3, 6 meses, un año?
In English, please.
In English, considering plus inconvenience paid for saying yes to international assignment, but knowing that in Lithuania you would say 200 for the same living standard, what paid you say yes for international assignment to Lithuania.
2,000.
2,000.
2,000.
So we would take our own number because the lowest offer was 1,800. No?
We have had another offer in here. Hemos tenido otra oferta, 1,800. So we had another employee.
But also your candidate would be considered because differences can be not only in the salary because of balance sheet, but as well as family consideration, cultural preparedness, language things, healthiness things, and the other one. But thank you for your offer. It would be considered. Now I'm talking as HRM specialist. Okay, I think that experiment was successful in this way that you considered the options. You thought about balance sheet approach, you tried on this and maybe made your decision. Maybe you are silent about that decision. It doesn't matter. It's your own decision. But I'm happy to hear considerations that it can be not so awful option in your career. So at the end of the lectures, are still left those who would like to go to another country to work? Yes. So it can be interesting, isn't it? So I'm happy for nodding. As you see, I don't know how our students from Argentina, but as you see the immigration pictures through the whole world, and the situation that more and more expat rates were needed for global companies, it gets normal. It gets normal to develop our own international career, and at least in the youth, I'm encouraging you till the family consideration to start this, to try on, to be happy with these challenges and to develop your international career. So with this wish, I'm ending my lecture. And tomorrow we will proceed with the cases. Thank you for being with me with your understandings as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Sonata. I don't know, I'm going to translate first in English and then in Spanish. Well, first of all, do you want to ask something in Argentina or in here? Do you want to ask something to Sonata?
Sara, do you have any questions? No. No? Don't be shy.
We can talk tomorrow also. Well, for tomorrow, my students here, you have 2 case studies. Jose Luis has uploaded 2 case studies. And in Argentina, you're going to have the case studies after the talk. Vais a tener los casos después de la charla. The objective tomorrow is that all of you are going to connect online. We're going to work in here, but you're going to connect with the link. I'm going to upload on Moodle. And from Argentina, they are going to split the class into groups. So you're going to be allocated in one group with Argentinian students. And you please read the case for tomorrow, and you're going to work with Argentinian students in the questions you have in the case study. La idea es que vosotros desde allí vais a formar salas independientes a través del enlace de Zoom, y tenéis aleatoriamente, tendréis algún estudiante internacional de aquí, de manera que leeréis el caso, discutiréis un poco sobre las preguntas y después de un tiempo hablaremos un poco sobre las respuestas. So after a while, maybe half an hour or so, we will be discussing the answers with Sonata. Do you have any question? ¿Alguna pregunta desde Argentina?
No, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for connecting. I'll see you tomorrow at 3.
See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Wait. Chicos, no, que yo llegué tarde. Gracias por sumarme. Mañana nos vamos a reunir otra vez en la misma acá en el mismo aula. Y en esta compu nos vamos a